We are recording.
Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome to 3 Ways to Generate Job Leads on LinkedIn. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Lauren McGoodwin. I'm the founder and CEO of Career Contessa. And if you've never been to Career Contessa before, let me just give you a little background on what we do. We help women build successful careers. That could be through them looking for a new job and trying to use a tool like LinkedIn. It could be once you get the job, how do you actually grow in that career, be more successful, define success on your own terms. We also like to say that we help people with career fit. So sometimes you know you're not in the right career and you know you want to do something different, but you're not really sure what that is. We can help you explore that. And we have a ton of really great tools on Career Contessa, everything from the Salary Project, which is an anonymous salary database. So for free, you can go in and see how much money people make in other industries and their job title, their location, their age, all that good stuff that you need to know, like am I being paid fairly or not. We have our own webinars, online courses, interviews, job postings, the whole gamut. So really think of us as kind of your career management platform. Prior to running careercontessa.com, I was a recruiter. And so I am super, super passionate about helping people with the career search and kind of providing more clarity. I know that it's tough out there to find a job. And prior to being a recruiter, I was in a horrific job that I absolutely hated, shed many tears, and figured out how to go from admin assistant to a recruiter. So I've been through the career transitions. I've been through those tough conversations. And my hope with Career Contessa is that we can make it a lot easier and more fun for people to invest and manage their careers. Just a couple places that we've been featured before. We love to provide career advice, especially to places that haven't really traditionally looked for career advice, like Refinery 29 and My Domain and things like that. So I kind of explain, what we do and who we help, but just as a quick reminder, we also offer one-on-one career counseling. So you can book a session with any of our pre-vetted coaches. So if you're ever looking for that one-on-one help, don't go to Google. You'll be overwhelmed with the options. Go to Career Contessa. So feel free to definitely check us out. So here's probably why some of you showed up today. You want a proven way to increase your network and double your job leads. You're probably thinking, hey, I would love to have a job land in my inbox versus having to apply and wait, and things like that. You also probably showed up today because you want to have more success with your job searching and landing interviews. You're tired of getting lost on LinkedIn and don't know where to start. So LinkedIn, they've come a long way, but it's still sometimes a bit challenging to understand and work your way around there. So if you're feeling a little lost, you are not alone. And you probably showed up today because you want to be fulfilled in your career and you know that a lackluster LinkedIn profile isn't going to cut it. And you're absolutely right. And so I'm going to talk about some statistics of how many recruiters are using LinkedIn, and it will probably blow your mind. But the point being is that lackluster profile really, really is no good. It's not doing you any favors. So here's what you'll discover on the webinar. We'll talk about why you should optimize your LinkedIn profile. So there's a difference between having a LinkedIn profile and having it optimized, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the number one tool you aren't using but need to be in order for recruiters to find you. And we'll talk about how to attract new job opportunities without much effort, which sounds like a dream come true for most of us. And if you stay tuned till the very end, I've got a special offer for all the OBSA people who joined tonight. So we'll talk about that as we get toward the end of this presentation. So first, let's talk about why LinkedIn. And if you're not convinced, hopefully I can convince you that LinkedIn needs to be a major part of your career, whether you're job searching or not. The first thing is that it really helps to establish your professional online brand. While you might have a portfolio site, you might have awesome social media, LinkedIn is a professional network. It's the largest professional network. There's over 500 million people on the network, and it is where whether they are looking to hire you for B2B or B2C services, or you're looking to get hired, if you're looking to network with people, it's happening here. I know that Facebook is trying to be that. It's not quite that yet. And you have a portfolio site, that's great, but people would have to know that it exists, whereas LinkedIn will help you get discovered. And why LinkedIn helps professionals and companies find you. Like I was just mentioning, over 87% of recruiters use LinkedIn to source and hire candidates. Again, I was a recruiter. I spent a huge part of my day on LinkedIn. LinkedIn actually has this tool called LinkedIn Recruiter, and it's amazing. It allows us to search for people based on specifics, location. It allows us to know who's available or who's also looking for us. So it's really changed the game for recruiting as well, which is why it's not surprising that over 87% of recruiters use LinkedIn. All right, you're probably wondering, I feel like we need to have a drum roll, but the number one LinkedIn tool is keywords. Keywords, keywords, keywords. And what do I mean by keywords? So when you are thinking about having, like I said, a LinkedIn profile versus an optimized profile, an optimized profile means that you're using keywords throughout your profile that help the right recruiter find you for the right job, meaning you've identified these are my skills. I'm gonna put them all through my LinkedIn profile so that anytime someone is searching for someone with this type of skill, they find me. And it's really, really important. So let's talk a little bit more about like how do keywords actually work. You've probably heard the term keywords before because you want to think about SEO, which stands for search engine optimization. So similar to when you go to Google and you type in a keyword related to a question, so like how to quit my job, quit my job or quit is probably a keyword there. So similar to how you use Google and you put in keywords to have results come up related to things that you want, it's the same thing that recruiters are doing when they type in keywords. So that's why I wanted to bring in the connection to SEO. But you also want to think like a recruiter. So if you're trying to figure out, okay, what keywords do I want to put on my LinkedIn profile, think about what would a recruiter type into a search bar in order to find you. So you're really working backwards. Let's say you work in social media or design. Let's use graphic design because I think that will be an easier example. If you work in graphic design, a recruiter might be typing in graphic designer. They might type in Photoshop designer. Those are all keywords. And you want to make sure that you put this all throughout your profile, not just in one place, because LinkedIn's algorithm searches for keywords in multiple places: the headline, the summary, your experience, skills. And if your profile is not complete and filled out, they actually ding you for that. Meaning, like, if you're not being active and filling it out, they're like, well, we don't really need to show this person to recruiters because they're not putting in their best effort. So they also will look for that as well. So here's an example of a keyword example using the headline. So maybe you right now just tell us exactly what you do at work, which is senior designer at Career Contessa. But that doesn't have a lot of keywords in it, right? The only keyword in there is the word designer, because a recruiter probably isn't necessarily searching senior designer. Maybe they are, but they're definitely not typing in senior designer at Career Contessa. That's probably too specific. So afterwards, you might optimize that headline by saying, what you do, senior graphic designer at Career Contessa, and then adding some other keywords like branding, production, and web design. Because if your recruiter is searching, or even somebody who wants to hire you for web design, they're not probably typing in senior graphic designer. They might be typing in web design. So you want to make sure that those keywords that you come up with, and I would say you're going to want to come up with anywhere between 5 to 10 keywords, that you put them throughout your profile. Okay, so let's talk about how to generate job leads on LinkedIn. So the first thing you want to do is you really want to optimize that profile. Find those keywords, put them throughout, make sure that you've filled out all the sections where they are going to be looking through your profile. So your headline, your summary, your experience. So you have to have everything filled out. Now, in order to generate job leads, now that you have this awesome profile and it's very clear about who you are and what your strengths are and why we should hire you, what we should hire you for, there's some other things that you can do. First is join and participate on LinkedIn. So this isn't going to be totally shocking, but LinkedIn loves when you are very active on it. That means sharing articles, liking other people's things, commenting, updating your profile on a regular basis. Most people kind of turn on their profile when they first make it, and you'd be shocked at how few people ever update it again. Making sure you have a photo, all that good stuff. The other thing that you can do is follow companies. This is great because let's say you work in Los Angeles and you love, there's some entertainment companies here like Disney and Fox and Netflix. You absolutely love those companies. And if they're hiring in LA, you want to know about it. Well, if you follow the companies on LinkedIn, it will alert you of any open job positions, and you can even set it to alert you for that. But also, when I was a recruiter, if I was looking at your LinkedIn profile, which was often, and you were claiming, maybe you applied online, you were claiming how much you loved our company, I might go on LinkedIn and say, hey, do they follow us, or how active are they with us? So that's something also, just as a nice tip. It's always nice to follow the companies that you're also applying to. Not to mention, a lot of them will post news updates too. So it's really beneficial for you in the long run. And probably the most popular way to generate job leads on LinkedIn is to add connections and network. You want to add connections of people who work at the companies that you want to work at, or in the fields that you either work at currently or want to transition to. You want to add those connections. If you don't know the person, it's so easy to add a little note like, hi, I'm Lauren. I'm really interested in XYZ profession that you're in. I'd love to connect on LinkedIn. It doesn't need to be super long and detail oriented. And then once you add them as a connection and they accept, you can grab their exact email address and start networking with them directly. Maybe it's having coffee with them. Maybe it's having a conversation via phone. So these are all great ways to generate job leads on LinkedIn without really a lot of effort. I mean, the biggest effort we've talked about here is getting on the phone with somebody that you would already probably want to talk to and learning more about what they do. So let's recap what we've covered so far. We've talked about why it's important to be active on LinkedIn. And if you guys have any questions, normally when I do this presentation, there's so many questions, so we're moving pretty quickly. But if you have any questions, please write them in the chat. Any of the challenges that you're facing, let me know. But we've talked about why it's important to be active on LinkedIn. It's the largest professional network. Recruiters are searching it all the time. In fact, when I was talking to Carrie before we started, she actually said that I have a job currently and I just got a job offer via LinkedIn. So it does happen. The other way that you can, and then the next thing we talked about was the number one secret tool you must include on your LinkedIn profile, which is keywords. And the reason why I say this is a secret is because when you're setting up your profile on LinkedIn, they never really say like, hey, think of 5 to 10 keywords that are related to your current career or the career you want to transition into. They don't really help you figure that out or even tell you that it's necessary. But if you were on the other end and you were using the recruiting tool called LinkedIn Recruiter, and you saw how it worked for recruiters to source and find people, you would see very quickly that they are asked to put in keywords and location and things like that. So that is why keywords are super, super important. And if you don't know what they are, a good place to start is by thinking about, okay, what are maybe skills, maybe they're hard skills or soft skills. Like I showed you earlier in that example, they're senior designer, but she also knows branding and web design. And we also have a free tool on careercontested.com that will help you come up. It's a huge list of LinkedIn skills. I can actually put it in the chat right here. It's a huge list of LinkedIn skills. And what you do is you basically go down that list and you hand select the skills that you have, and that you can use those as your keywords as well. So let me go ahead and put it here in the chat. Like I said, it's a free worksheet that we've already put all the skills down. So that's a great place to start with keywords if you are not sure where to start either. The next thing is you want to, we've covered how to creatively and effective ways that you can actively or passively job search. So a lot of people on LinkedIn, before they're actively job searching, are going to be on there kind of looking around and adding people as connections, updating their profile and things like that. You can also, there's a tool on LinkedIn that allows you to set your career interests and it allows you to alert recruiters if you're actively job searching, casually job searching, when you're looking to make a move. And if you fill out that information, they will actually prioritize your profile in the profiles that they provide the recruiter in the search results. So while that's great when you're actively looking, some of the best times to be on LinkedIn is when you're not and when you're passively looking and you are, like I said, interacting, adding connections, getting coffee. You know, there's that saying in sales, ABC, always be closing. Well, ABN, always be networking, because you just never know where it's going to go. So it's important to use the keywords in addition to adding the skills for endorsement. Yes, absolutely. You want to have both. Absolutely, Carrie. So if you want to have keywords throughout your profile, but you also want to fill out the skills section. The skills section is actually not part of the algorithm. That's just part of LinkedIn's like own lists, or like, I guess, how do I explain it? Like, keywords are what the recruiters are putting in, and the skills are LinkedIn's list of things that they've come up with, and that's just an additional way. So if you don't have keywords, you're basically saying, I'm only going to put the skills there that LinkedIn has come up with. Well, that's what LinkedIn has come up with, not necessarily what a recruiter would come up with. So you want to have both. The endorsements are not part of the algorithm. So what Carrie's asking is, when people endorse you for a skill, they're not part of the algorithm. LinkedIn likes that, and I can't really understand why, because anybody can endorse you. I will say, for recruiters, we hardly look at that part. It's like, oh, so when someone landed on your profile and LinkedIn said, hey, endorse this person for their skill, you click the box just to get rid of it. That I wouldn't worry as much about. I would make sure that you have a list of skills, but then I would also, if you can, ask people to write you recommendations and return the favor and write them recommendations. I always love seeing that on LinkedIn profiles. I know some recruiters feel strongly one way or another, but if someone's willing to publicly endorse you or write a recommendation for you, I think that means that they were proud to be connected to you because it's public, right? Okay, so we've gone over some tips, and the way I look at it is essentially right now, you guys kind of have two options. You can use the same tips you learned today and continue with your same old LinkedIn profile and hope for different results. Meaning different results in terms of your profile getting noticed in job opportunities, or even people accepting your LinkedIn requests and being willing to connect with you. Or we have a special offer, and you guys, just for anybody who came later, I have an online course that gives you step-by-step directions that will teach you exactly how to create an optimized LinkedIn profile. And I have seen firsthand, and we've had testimonials from people, where it will literally double your job leads and get you results. So what we do is we basically go through, and it's called the LinkedIn Lab, and we go step-by-step exactly how to take a so-so profile and turn it into a fully optimized, lead generating machine. So the LinkedIn Lab, I'd like to think of this as the easiest, fastest, and most effective way to create an amazing LinkedIn profile. So you can spend a lot of time making updates to your profile, or you can just follow my step-by-step directions and you would be good to go, and you never really have to touch it again, minus the fact that one of the to-dos in the course is that every few months you have to update it. But you get my point, and you get access to it forever. So if you guys are interested in the LinkedIn course, here's what you would get. You would get step-by-step instructions for optimizing each section. So we go literally from the photo to the background to all the way to the skills. We'll give you keyword search tips and strategies you can't find anywhere else. Usually the hardest part of making a LinkedIn profile is understanding, what are my keywords? What should I put there? So we'll walk you through that. We have 11 video tutorials and examples of LinkedIn profiles, communication templates, etc. So I'm really a huge fan of templates. They save you time, and then you don't have to guess what you should use or not use. We also included interviews with real recruiters about what it takes to stand out on LinkedIn, which is really valuable because you want to know, how are they using the tool? And of course, like anything that we offer at Career Contessa, you're going to get a downloadable course workbook that will also include worksheets, templates, and guides. So it's like a class. So for all of you that are in school right now, it should feel kind of like similar in terms of how you are used to learning right now. So here's just an idea, I want to give you guys an idea of the curriculum that we would cover in the course. So we go through keywords, then we go through each and every section, all the way down to recommendations. And then we'll tell you how to use LinkedIn if you're actively job searching or passively job searching, some FAQs, and again, those Q&As with real recruiters, which is super, super helpful. Here's an example of what kind of your course workbook looks like. So again, it's not like we're trying to trick you or make it difficult. We're literally going to walk you through step by step, including some background photos that our designer has made custom for us. step-by-step instructions for your profile page. So this is all the great stuff that you're gonna get. At the end of the course, what will you have? You will eliminate confusion and give your advice straight from a recruiter, myself, and a career expert. You'll remove the headache of optimizing your LinkedIn profile. We'll walk you through how to actively search for jobs, including communication templates. So what to send to people when you're interested in a job and you want to network with them, but use that networking as an opportunity to basically work your way in backwards to get the job. And we'll give you a fully built, impressive LinkedIn profile that can help jobs land in your inbox right away. So one of the great things about making this investment in your LinkedIn profile and actually optimizing it is that it's like, you know, when you were a kid and people would say, oh, jobs aren't gonna, you know, knock on your door. Well, they might. They might knock on your inbox door. Carrie is proof of that. If you have a great LinkedIn profile and it's got some awesome keywords so the right people can find you and hire you and make some awesome offers. So what will you create during this course? You will have an increase in your LinkedIn confidence. You will leave as a pro. A LinkedIn profile that highlights your accomplishments and is tailored to your professional goals. That's really important that your LinkedIn profile is not saying something different than what your resume or your pitch, your personal pitch or your elevator pitch is saying. You don't want to be having an identity crisis. It's no good. You'll have a profile that catches recruiters' eyes, and you'll have the foundation for your LinkedIn profile for years to come. So once you buy this course, you'll have access to it forever, and you'll be able to feel confident that that is a really great foundational piece to your career management overall. So just today, well, actually for the next 3 days, just for you guys, we're offering $50 off the original price, which makes it $147. All you have to do is use the code OBSA in order to get access to the $50 off. Let me actually put in the chat a link to the sales page. And we even have a couple free lessons or previews, so you guys can check those out as well as a trailer. So here's the link to the sales page, and then just use OBSA. Let me put OBSA. That's your webinar code in order to get the $50 off. But you only have until the next 3 days. So you have Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday to midnight in order to grab this offer. And if you don't like it, don't worry. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee as well. I haven't had anybody ask me for a money-back or for a guarantee, or sorry, for a refund. But if you want it, I'm more than happy to give it to you within 30 days. I truly, truly know that this course and having a LinkedIn profile does change lives. When I was transitioning from a admin assistant to a recruiter at a tech company, I worked at Hulu. I thought there's no way these people are ever going to hire me. And what I did is I actually went on LinkedIn and I had informational interviews with over 30 people who were recruiters. So I really credit LinkedIn not only for my career transition, but also the success I had as a recruiter at a major company. So again, if you're thinking about how you've got to get this in order, let me help you out and make it really simple. And then, you know, just as another testimonial, and there's testimonials on the sales page as well. But we've had, actually at this rate, I think we've had more than 500 customers enroll. So I obviously need to update that for the slide. But I'm here to answer any questions you guys might have. Feel free to put them in the chat. It's been lovely spending Thursday evening with you guys and talking you through LinkedIn. And even if you don't buy it, please, or even if you don't want to take any of the tips from the course that I'm talking about, please make sure that you are on LinkedIn and you are active and you are keeping up with the changes and things like that are happening, because like I said, 87% of recruiters do use it to source and hire, and that's incredible. Okay, well, if there's not any other questions from the group, so Josh, it's not necessarily mainly for women. I run a career site for women, but this course, the LinkedIn Lab, is very much unisex. You just have to be cool with me, a woman, teaching the course, and it's going to have maybe some photos of females throughout the course, but the content is perfect for everyone and anyone. I run a career site for women, but I always tell people just because we're for women doesn't mean we're anti-men, and men can absolutely use these tips. So the most female part about it is that you're going to see a lot of me on the screen. So if you're cool with that, we're cool with that. All right. Yeah, absolutely, Josh. You can 100%, 90% of our customers are women and the other 10% are men. So there's a lot of men that use Career Contessa. And we, from the career courses to the salary project. So the salary project is our anonymous salary database. So that's another great tool that we have for you. Morgan, the question of should you pay for LinkedIn, you mean like the premium membership? I have never paid for a premium membership. I think if you take my class, then you should be able to work your way around LinkedIn perfectly fine without having to pay for the LinkedIn membership. And the reason why I say that is a lot of people end up paying for the membership because LinkedIn makes them feel like, hey, you can't connect with any more people until you're premium. You can't reach out to this person unless you're premium. That's actually not true. There's a lot of hacks and ways around that. We walk you through it in the course as well. So I've never paid for LinkedIn. I think you would want to pay for LinkedIn if you wanted to use like LinkedIn Learning, or you were an employer and you wanted to post your own job on there. But like I said, I've been using LinkedIn for over 10 years and I've never once paid for it. I have found jobs with it. I have hired people through it. I've used it as while I worked in an organization, I was using LinkedIn Recruiter. The other cool thing when I was a recruiter at Hulu is I was the LinkedIn account person. So I did everything with the LinkedIn team, which really helped me learn all those shortcuts as well. So, it's totally up to you, but all those, basically what you're paying for is shortcuts, and it's, I don't think you need to have that. Carrie says, is it possible to get connected with too many people and have that look bad on your profile? I think, well, it's never going to look bad on your profile to be connected to people. So, I mean, like, could you connect with too many people at once and all of a sudden, I mean, like, I think after 500, by the way, it stops showing. So it will always say like 500 plus connections. I have close to 7,000 connections on LinkedIn and it still says 500 plus. So no, I don't think it's going to look bad on your profile. And I honestly don't think people will even see. There are some privacy settings so you can make it so that anytime you update your profile or you do things, it doesn't alert your network at all either. Josh, if you want to learn more about this program, here is the sales page for it. I'll put that in the chat. So this will kind of walk you through exactly what we cover in the course. We've got a couple of free lessons, including a trailer. So you can definitely check that out. And then I'm also Lauren at careercontessa.com if you want to reach out to me. So Christina says, how important is my profile pic? Should I have it professionally done? This is another thing that we cover in the course, is how to take an awesome LinkedIn photo. You do not have to have it professionally done. If you want to, you're more than welcome to, but no, you definitely don't have to. The iPhones or the camera phones are so good today that it doesn't really require anything more than that and maybe a friend helping you out. What is the biggest mistake I see on LinkedIn? Definitely not having a summary section. So when you guys go to your LinkedIn profile, I would love for you all to go to your LinkedIn profile right now. Just tell me, how many of you have a summary section? So a lot of people fill out the header and they fill out the experience and they leave the summary blank, because the summary is essentially this place where you can tell me about yourself, right? And that is sometimes really hard for people to write about themselves. Like, how do I write 3 paragraphs or a paragraph explaining who I am and what I do and why I'm special? This is why coming up with an elevator pitch is so hard, right? Because it's like talking about yourself is sometimes the hardest thing. Carrie, you did. That's probably why you got a job offer via LinkedIn. Josh says, I have one, just not sure if it's good. Yeah, so this is another great thing that we cover in the course, is we walk you through step-by-step how to fill out a summary and how to add your keywords into that summary. So it's a nice, not like overly pushy way of talking about yourself or bragging about yourself. It comes off really nice and organically, but it is really important that you have a consistent story. When I was recruiting, we would go, one time we were at the South by Southwest Career Fair. So many of you know, this is a big tech conference in Austin, Texas that happens once a year. And people would walk by our booth and they say, oh, what are you looking for? And we'd say, well, what are you looking for? This is a career booth, right? So we're hiring. And they're like, well, I can do a little bit of everything. While that might have been valuable at some point, for most recruiters in most companies today, that's not very valuable anymore. It is actually really difficult to place someone who can do a little of this and do a little of that. So you want to make sure that on your summary, you are articulating what are your skills? Who are you? Who is Josh? What is he good at? What are his strengths? What is he looking for? What does he specialize in? What are his skills? Those are all things you want to make sure that you are articulating on your summary. Even if you're not sure what you want to do, there's a great way to articulate that. If you're transitioning careers, there's a great way to articulate that as well. Good questions, guys. Thanks. When should you start looking when you're finishing your degree? So the great thing, Josh, about LinkedIn is that if you have a LinkedIn profile updated now and optimized now, people might start reaching out to you. So you don't have to wait until you have your degree to start looking for jobs. So I would say the time to start updating your LinkedIn profile is now. You know, there's no reason to wait. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I hope this webinar has been helpful. Again, feel free to check out our course, the LinkedIn Lab, if you are considering, you know, what other, you know, steps can you do to optimize the profile. I hope you guys are getting the vibe or the message that LinkedIn is really, really important, and it should be part of your career management on an ongoing basis. So like I said, even if you don't buy the course to optimize the profile, just make sure that you are taking it really seriously and not treating it sort of like just another network that who cares if I'm active on Facebook or not. LinkedIn, it really does matter for your career. But thank you again for joining me this Thursday night, and I hope to be in touch with you guys soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Lauren. We look forward to being in touch with you.
Thank you.